Dollar McDonald's sweet tea. I drink that.
I have no cash money.
2.5 men. I watch that. Super hot fire. I spit that. Oh! Such a good video.
Should that be the intro? Should we just like
Start it right there?
Start it right there.
Sure, we'll do that.
Well,
Welcome, guys.
Welcome everyone to episode 5 of Movies Not Music. That's probably wrong, isn't it? Jaren's currently dying of a cough. 6. Is it 6?
It's probably because I'm.
All right, we do this every time. So there was holiday. Oh, let me also.
I do think it's 6. Because. Well. I think okay. So
There
we've
was
been
holiday. There was.
But holiday. Don't count holiday because we haven't been counting holiday.
Okay, so then there was.
And technically, okay. So when we did Casino Royale,
Casino Royale was probably the first one.
But we did that in an actual episode.
Warrior so what are we counting? Okay, so Warrior.
So Warrior, and then Quantum of
Solace. Then there was
Moneyball, I think.
Moneyball.
And then
was there another Bond movie?
It was a Skyfall, and then
Skyfall, Jerry Maguire.
And then Jerry Maguire.
And now we're here at Spectre.
And we'll probably do. Oh, you wanted to do Southpaw next?
Yeah.
Like as far as
sure.
the next and. I actually will have to I gotta make myself sit down and rewatch that. Most of these movies I haven't had to rewatch because I've seen them probably like
7
at least
times.
a couple of times. I've seen Warrior twice. But anyway, yeah. So
we're back on Bond today, boys.
Yeah, we're on Spectre. We're back with the Bond series.
Talking about James again.
I think what we'll do is okay. So this is episode 6. Southpaw will be episode 7. And then No Time to Die will be episode 8. So we'll have done an equal part in both of those kind of series / genre or whatever. And so from there we can maybe just choose like a new like
nature documentaries.
Start watching. We'll watch, guys. Next week we're watching
David
March of the
Attenborough.
Penguins, narrated by Morgan Freeman.
Disney princess movies. There you go.
Okay, we can do that.
I don't want to do that.
We're gonna watch Tangled. All right.
I don't want to do that. I've seen like
Tangled is actually good.
I've seen like no Disney princess movies, and I don't intend to. Like
Evan.
It's always really embarrassing when people are like,
Evan, you trying to act like I know you haven't seen any of them, but you really are ignorant enough to know that.
Tangled is the one with the long hair, yes?
Hell yeah.
Okay, I've seen Tangled, at least the animated version. I don't know how many versions there are. I've seen the Disney animated.
When did you see it?
Years ago.
So you don't remember it like at all?
I do. I know she had the old like lady.
No. Okay, I think eventually we're gonna watch Tangled. Okay.
I shouldn't have said that. I can't.
No, we're gonna do it, dude. You will enjoy it. I promise. Tangled is a classic. I would say Tangled is a modern Disney animated classic.
I would say I am a modern classic, but if we want to drop the standard that low.
All right.
We're talking about. Gosh, I need to turn my mic level down. I think.
So
we're talking about James Bond, Spectre, the 4th James Bond movie. Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Another one.
Actually, so Evan just watched this movie last night, and it was funny. He actually started watching the 5th one, No Time to Die. I think. How far did you get in? Like, do you know how? What? Not obviously not super far.
I think about like
had you gotten past that first scene?
So here's what happens, right? So I start watching the movie, and it is a terrifying start to a movie. Okay, I am not good at scary stuff at all.
It's really not even that scary. For people that haven't seen this, it's really not that scary. But Evan's probably never seen a scary movie.
No, I've seen...
scary movie.
I haven't. I definitely haven't. But, so anyways, we're agreeing on what time we're going to record, and I text Jaren at 9:23.
Next time we hang out in person, we should watch a scary movie.
I don't like that idea. But I text him at 9:23. Pause. This opening scene too scary. Because I'm laying there in my boxers, in my bed, in my dark room. This is what I'm doing before I go to bed. I'm going to watch the movie.
You're in a vulnerable state. You're emotionally...
very vulnerable
yeah.
state. I like watching it the day before so that it's still fresh in my memory. So anyways, then I say, I really got to watch this? Bro, right before bed, I legit don't know. Because at this point, I am considering tapping out. I'm considering saying, like...
He's not even...
I'm considering saying, can we record, instead of the afternoon, can we record at, like, in the evening, and I'll watch this, like, outside on a sunny day, right? And so I said, nah, wait, I can't do this. The sounds are freaking me out. Bro, the sounds are terrifying. Dog, I'm 3:07 in. I can't. I said, maybe if I turn the lights on and put some happy music on. What a strat. And that's exactly what I did. So I turned my lights on.
Oh my
and I
god.
if you want to cue the song in the background, It's Not Living If It's Not With You by the 1975. That is the song. If you look it up, you'll listen to it, you'll know exactly what state I was in.
I'm gonna listen.
So I put on It's Not Living If It's Not With You by the 1975, and I turned my lights on, and I backed away from my iPad mini I was watching it on. And that is how I got through the opening scene. So then we get, right, some more shooting happens, someone falls through ice. And so then I text him, right? I'm like, how's bro not dead? Because how is the dude not dead? And then as I paused it to text Jaren that, and then he responded like, yo, wrong movie. And I was like, are you listening to the song?
But that well, yeah, that was funny. I put it on, and I'm just imagining that whole scene playing out like with just like a happy song playing.
Bro, it's the happiest song I can think of.
No, but it was partially my fault. Well, actually, it was completely my fault because I literally said, "Okay, we gotta watch No Time to Die." I kind of forgot it, and we'll get into it. But sometimes I forget that Spectre exists. The thing about Spectre for me is that it's not a bad movie. I think it's not even the worst Daniel Craig James Bond movie. I just feel like it might be the most forgettable one. But you might feel different.
Not a bad take or opinion. I could see it being forgettable. I mean, I still remember it.
I don't think it's like, I don't literally, like, compared to like other movies, I still think it's like, I love these movies. Even the worst one, Quantum of Solace, even the worst one I think is better than a lot of other movies. Mm-hmm. But Spectre, when I compare it to like Skyfall, oh my god, and then No Time to Die, which we'll get to, it's like those movies, and Casino Royale, all three of those just kind of stand above the rest. And Spectre is inoffensive, but it's so inoffensive that it's like one of those albums that's like, yeah, it's all right, like it's solid,
it's good.
Yeah.
So, do you want to give the viewers or the listeners a quick rundown of the movie, and then we will continue some conversation?
I will. Well, I'll just read a little short synopsis here. We use IMDb to help me out. So this is the like 2 sentences. This is the bare bones kind of what's going on. So it says a cryptic message from James Bond's past sends him on a trail to uncover the existence of a sinister organization named Spectre. With a new threat dawning, Bond learns the terrible truth about the author of all of his pain in his most recent missions. So there's a few things that this movie tries to do. Like with Skyfall kind of took James Bond as like, okay, what if we try to go deeper into James's mythology, but also his personal life, his emotional life, and just humanize him further. And this movie attempts to continue that. And I think in some ways it succeeds, but I also think that in some ways it kind of falls a little bit short. Because, and we'll just get right into it. Spoilers, by the way, if you're watching this, I'm sure you've probably seen it, or you just don't care. But it's kind of revealed that this organization that he's looking for, there's one man from his past has been behind everything.
And bro's name
before. Okay, so the thing about his name, so his name is it's Hans, right? I believe.
Franz, was it not?
Is it Hans or Franz? It's like Franz. I think it might be Franz. Sorry, Franz Blofeld. We find out. I'm sure you noticed. I think the first time I watched this, I wasn't paying enough attention to it. But Franz is like his essentially like, kind of like his half brother in a way, like adopted brother kind of, because
James's dad and mom are dead.
When they died, James was young, and there was a period of time where he lived with Franz and his father, and Franz's father kind of became this father figure to James. We learned this just through dialogue and stuff like that. We never there's no like flashbacks or anything like that, which I do appreciate. I feel like if that had happened, it kind of would have
been annoying.
It would have been weird, or it might have slowed down the. I feel like it probably could have been executed well, but I'm just glad that they didn't bother with doing that. They didn't need to. And Franz just kind of grew to hate James. He felt jealous. James got a lot of attention.
To a crazy degree.
That's
right?
true.
So
he
like,
never said he was sane.
You know, I was living my best life at the age of like 3.5, and then my little brother came along. Okay. Sure, it drove me like to insanity, but I didn't organize a crime ring to start just doing terrorist attacks around the world. Like, how bad was James? How annoying was this guy around the house?
I don't even know. I don't think. That's the thing. I feel like if we saw more into this past relationship between Blofeld's father and James, the three of them, I don't think James himself. I doubt James himself was annoying. Well, I know.
I think it was just jealousy.
I'm sure James like didn't even like
want anything.
He probably thought everything was He probably thought everything was okay. Like he probably thought they were chill. But Franz actually just hated him because he wanted his father to himself. Essentially, is what it comes down to, you know.
And he's still holding that grudge like 30 years later.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It does feel like kind of like really, but at the same time, it's kind of like, well, that is kind of like a classic Bond villain thing that they would like, just over the top, like you
stole my cookies 40 years ago, so I had no choice but to commit genocide.
But I don't know. Maybe it goes deeper than that. Maybe he dealt with some kind of self-worth issues. Maybe because he felt his father neglected him. Maybe his father did neglect him. We don't really know.
Whatever happened, bro ended up with the name Franz. So it didn't go great for him. And because well, you know what? I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Let's work our way through before I get my thoughts.
Okay.
So
I would like to point out, actually, this is just like a quick, like, something that I've kind of noticed. I feel like other people probably noticed it, but towards the end of this movie, there are some similarities. At the beginning, it's weird because this movie kind of feels like it has, that is one thing. This movie kind of feels like it has like two final acts, like 2 third acts.
That is true.
Because they go to this, or at least that's kind of how it feels to me. They go to this desert facility. Sound familiar? And they have to do this thing, and then it blows up and is like burning down. It's a little weird.
Sounds familiar? Am I stupid?
Quantum of Solace.
Oh well, yeah.
It's not like it doesn't play out exactly the same, but I just thought that's like we're in the desert again. It's in the middle of nowhere. Everything's on fire.
Okay, guys. So you know, like a few years ago when we like set this deserted area on fire, so I'm gonna do it again. You want me to do it again? You want to watch me do it again?
Yeah, it's not exactly the same, but I just thought it was funny that both of those movies have a desert facility.
Both of them have
complex.
Daniel Craig in the movie too. I found.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Actually.
Quite a similarity.
But then after that, like the Quantum of Solace kind of ends after the whole desert facility on fire thing. This one has like there's a whole final act where James kind of has to find the woman he loves, and
Madeline. I love how he screams it in his British accent. He's like, Madeline.
That's true. I actually kind of like them together. In this movie, I do ship them, but I ship them more after having seen the second movie. Like the next movie after this, the final one. This movie, I feel like, kind of rushes us through this relationship. I feel like if we saw a little bit more with them, it would feel a little bit more earned.
Yeah.
But at the end of the movie, he's kind of like, I'm willing to die for this woman. And I'm like, all right, dog, you've been through this Vesper thing. I feel like you might be a little... And they actually do touch on that in the next movie. So I think, as a whole, if you put Spectre and No Time to Die together, Spectre is better because No Time to Die exists. Without No Time to Die, Spectre was a worse movie, I think, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, if No Time to Die never came out, you haven't seen it. I won't get into what happens.
I've seen about 5 minutes.
But it's really good. But no, I think it's really cool. We get all the main Q and Moneypenny are back. Obviously, M died in Skyfall, so M's not kicking. But the new M, Mallory, he's pretty cool. I've always liked Mallory. He's
Respectable figure.
He's a pretty stand-up guy, and one of my favorite things about Skyfall was that they kind of built him up for you to. They very intelligently built him up in such a way that you're like, I don't really like this guy. He seems like he's out of his depth. He seems like he's just being a jerk because he thinks he knows better. But that wasn't the case. He's just a very intelligent dude who he understands how things work. But he also understands how other things work, if that makes sense. Like, he's been in the field before, but he also knows how to play the political game, if that makes sense. And after the events of Skyfall, you gain a little bit more respect for him. And in Spectre, we get to spend just a little bit more time with him. And in No Time to Die, I like most of what they do with his character. But we'll get to that. I know I keep talking about it, but that's just because I love that movie so much. But what are your thoughts on Spectre? And I kind of feel like I've already given my thoughts for the most part. So I feel like it's just a pretty solid adventure.
Yeah, I do like it. I do like the whole thing of James Bond kind of going dark, even though they have this whole tracking system. And I like, as far as the plot line goes, of this whole global security or surveillance corporation kind of thing that it's taking over the whole 00 system, or scrapping the 00 system. You know what I mean? I kind of like how that turns out to be part of the network of Spectre. I thought that was cool. A few things one thing with the movie that does not compute with me, and it literally comes at the end.
Okay.
And I don't know if this is gonna play a part in No Time to Die. I hope it doesn't, because if it does play a part in No Time to Die, it's gonna bug me.
I'm not sure what you're talking about, but okay.
I'm gonna get there. Why at the end, when James is sitting there like this, with dirty little Franz, bloodied up, waiting to die, deserving to die, and he just gets rid of the bullets. He's like, oh, out of ammo. No, you're not. No, you're not. Put them back in. Load it. I don't know how to load a gun because I'm not American. And shoot him.
Bruh.
Get rid of him. Like...
By the way, Evan is, for the audio listeners, Evan is standing up, showing... Yeah, so, James is standing above Franz on the bridge at the movie has climaxed. We're at the resolution has started. James has a gun pointed at Franz. Now, I will say this. The reason... I like that James doesn't kill Franz.
I don't.
And it...
Maybe I'm just ruthless. I would have blasted the guy.
It's part of his character development for me. It's part of his arc. In the past, James would have just gone. That dude, gone, you know?
That doesn't work for me, though, because that's like...
Well, no. I'm not...
Part of
big
it...
reason... Okay, no, let me finish. Madeline thinks James can be better. Like, she sees a side of him. She knows there's a part of him that doesn't have to just be a killer. And James doesn't want to disappoint her. He wants to be that person. And so even though Franz has done all these things, he's able to find it within himself. He knows he's defeated Franz. He's already won. He doesn't need to kill him. He can be a bigger man, and he can walk away. And so that's to me, that's what that means. And he chooses, because if he had killed Franz, Madeline would have walked away. But he was able to walk away and be with Madeline because he didn't kill Franz.
Okay, I know what you're saying.
I'm not saying you have to agree with that. I'm just saying that's how I interpret that.
I'm putting myself in James Bond's shoes, which is not is not a difficult thing to do, you know, stature-wise, ability-wise. I can relate to this man. So, okay. If Madeline is gonna leave me, Because I do my job in killing the head of a terrorist organization who had me strapped up in a chair, shoving needles into my neck that were gonna kill me if I wasn't, like, literally the greatest human being alive doing some watch thing, right? If that woman's gonna leave me for that, leave. Do you know how many ladies will come after this figure? This money, this like you can hit the roads, Madeline. This guy's gotta die. Okay. This guy has to go. He has to go.
I realize that you're half serious.
Wait. Yeah, it's like, hold on. I saved your life, Madeline. I was crashing planes down a mountain for you, and you're gonna leave me for doing my job? Am I gonna, what, should I uncrash the plane? Huh? No.
Okay.
No.
I do see your point, but I think you do need to see it from Madeline's perspective. She grew up surrounded by death.
So she should be used to it. Not
horror. Oh my. That's she doesn't want to be used to it.
Yeah,
that is the point. Her father was Mr. White, who we see die in this movie, and that's a big part of the plot, is finding Mr. White, learning more about Spectre earlier in the movie, and that's how James and Madeline meet, is because he asks James to protect her.
Yeah, so all jokes aside, though, the reason I don't necessarily like why he doesn't kill Franz is because, at least in my head, when I'm thinking, right, he gets detained and put under arrest. This guy had private, like, headquarters with all the technology in the world. He's got hundreds of, like, armed guards. Why? So it's like, and you think you're like a jail is gonna keep him captive? So if it does, fine, right? He can sit in jail. He can suffer. I'm fine with that. But in my mind, I think if he could do all the other stuff, what's stopping them from busting him out of jail? And if he gets out, then it's like, why didn't you just kill him when you had the chance?
Okay, so
which is why, sorry, if he comes back in No Time to Die, that's the part I'm not going to like. So I'm like, go away. I don't want you here. Don't spoil it.
Okay, I'm not going to spoil any. I will say he's in the next movie, but it's not like, I think you'll like what happens with his character.
Does he die?
Well, I will say there's a new villain in the next movie. He is not the main villain. He is a background. He's like a side character. He's a pawn.
As you should be being named Franz.
The point that you bring up about him being powerful, having money, why wouldn't he just break out, is addressed in No Time to Die.
Okay, then I'll respect it more, but with my current knowledge, I'm sitting there like, not even like on the edge of my seat, like, oh, get rid of it, right? I'm not being some fangirl. I'm just sitting there like, James, shoot him.
I get it, and it doesn't make sense. Is it eliminate this piece of garbage or woman? Like,
eliminate the garbage.
Like, you would probably eliminate the garbage, right? But I don't know, man. Like, how I see it is, he already took out the garbage. James could take it out again if he needs to. He'd rather be happy with someone who makes him happy. He's grown so much, he doesn't want to be who he was. Is
fair.
How I see it. But yeah, it makes sense. But I think that's part of what makes his character more human, is that he is now acting on emotion and less logically, because a lot of us do that a lot of the time, you know.
Shouldn't he be logical? Isn't the whole thing of it? You know what? Never mind.
That's the whole.
We're running in the circle. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I would argue that he's not. He doesn't get more stupid. He just gets more empathetic as he grows as a character. He becomes less of an asshole throughout these movies. You know. And that's my favorite thing. But that I've been preaching that. I've been shouting that for the rooftops ever since we started talking about the James Bond movies. But that's my big thing. That's why I really like that. I know you might have a problem with it, which I get.
I think it's, well, you know what? Maybe it's because I'm not reading, like, I'm not reading into the plot like that of like he should go off and like this girl makes him happy, blah 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 blah. I'm sitting there like, bro's killed so many people and tried to kill me. It's time to go. It's time
Is my
to
mic
sack
working?
it off.
Okay,
Yeah,
it is.
you're good.
Sorry.
It's time to call it a day and shoot this man. Besides, his name's Franz. You're really gonna like not
what do you think
eliminate
of the
Franz.
interrogation/torture scene with Franz and Madeline and James?
I didn't think a whole lot of it. I did have one.
Well, I just wanted to know what you thought because there hasn't really been a scene like, well, in Casino Royale he does get a rope to the balls.
Yeah,
but that's a little
I
bit
like
different.
that
This
scene.
one's a little bit more like surgical.
Yeah,
that
and
one's
so-
brute force. To me, this one is more tense. Like, look, I know it would hurt, but I would rather take 20 just like full on full force.
We're not even
that
talking about this right now. But
I would rather do that than take like a needle to like. No, I'll pass on the needle.
but here's
drill
here's
thing.
what I didn't
I'll
understand.
pass
right?
on that.
So the second needle that's supposed to go into his neck is supposed to make him forget who everything is. How does it not? Because then after James like fakes it and he still knows who Madeline is and he gives her the watch and she blows the place up and they run away. How did it not make him forget? Like the needle went in, he was screaming. It's not like he avoided it or something. Like how did that not make him forget?
That's a good point.
I was missing that part. I was like, why is he not forgotten yet? Like there's no way. There's no way this guy missed the spot or something. That's the thing.
Okay, well, it could be three things. Either the movie just said that this is what happens to raise the stakes, and then completely threw it out the window when it like once it like it was like, well, he's James Bond, so it doesn't matter. Or we're both missing something. And 3, I'm gonna look it up right now.
Probably 2, I'd imagine. I'd imagine I'm missing something, but I'm just genuinely curious. What am I missing? Because that doesn't add up.
How does James Bond not lose his memory in Spectre?
Spectre. Also, notice how Spectre is spelled.
Huh?
Or how do you?
What'd you say?
How do you spell Spectre? Or is that a word?
Okay, so I think there's 2 right ways to spell Spectre. How they spelled in the movie.
I like the way they
And then-
spelt it in the movie for obvious reasons.
Because a Spectre, ER, has always been kind of like a ghost apparition type of thing. And I think RE, it's just the same thing, just a different spelling, I believe. So let me see if I can, sorry, I'm doing computer man, hacker man stuff. Okay, I found a Quora, like, question board thing. So it says, in Spectre, how did James Bond survive the brain operation without adverse effects?
Does it say?
The first probe, which meant to work on his sight, hearing, and balance, didn't work. Obviously, he saw Blofeld, the cat on his lap, and he heard Blofeld's words clearly. The second probe found its mark. After this scene, all the people he needed to recognize are Swan, Blofeld, and M. He relearns Swan's face when she runs up to his side. He sees Blofeld's face after the second probe to memorize it again. When he sees M for the first time after the probe, Bond doesn't introduce M to Swan. He keeps still, unable to decide who M is and if he's hostile. It's okay. So it sounds like it's very subtle, like, and so it sounds like he doesn't like he. It's like something gets like torn out of his like immediate memory, and he has to piece it back together. And seeing things and hearing things helps him do that. So it sounds like
So that just
it did affect
sucks,
him.
man. He got
Yeah.
Franz got ripped off, bro. He got some off the street, under the counter, like memory loss thing, and it just didn't work. That's
this is
tough.
interesting.
We've all
I
been
have to-
scammed before.
I actually kind of want to watch that movie again after that scene to try to pay attention to more of those scenes to see if,
Interactions, yeah.
because this is just what somebody's saying. This could totally be, I don't know, but because like
Dude.
this says, after the probe, there are several occasions where Bond stares at Swan's face as if to memorize it completely, never to lose again. By the way, I don't think if we said Madeline's last name is Swan, so if we say Swan, we're talking about Madeline. Yeah, interesting. From that point on, after Swan. Huh. Yeah. I don't know. So that's what that person said. So that's interesting. Who knows? Who actually knows?
James Bond, and that's the problem.
Oh, that's actually I have a little cool little bit of trivia here. Actually, do you know who Christopher Nolan is? He's a director.
Do you want to know why I know who that is and that I know he's a director?
How would you know? What would you?
There's no way you know.
Okay,
There's no way.
Then go ahead and tell me.
So I was bored and I was watching Sean C. live stream. And Sean C. is a music reviewer that I watch for like hip hop R&B stuff. I love him. So his live streams are hilarious, and he just like will watch anything on stream just for fun. He just takes suggestions out of like the comments of the Twitch stream or chat.
The chat.
And
it's called the chat.
Okay, shut up. And anyways, so right, we're there watching a Jubilee video. One of those like dating videos, like who's best for who, whatever.
Sure.
And what does the one girl say as like a little icebreaker question? It's like Nolan or someone else. And the guy's like, he's trying to think, and Sean just paused the video. He's like, bro, see, like that's the most like I don't watch movies, but I want people to think I watch movies question, like Nolan or so and so. So that's how I know Christopher. That's how I know Christopher Nolan and that he's a director. It's because of that.
But you know his name, but
I'll give you
you
$5.
Don't know any...
I don't know anything about him. I'll give you $5 so if that's how you thought I learned who Christopher Nolan was.
Give me $5 then.
Bro, it was on a Sean C.
I had no
live
idea.
stream.
Yeah. Evan, I was watching that Sean C. live stream too. Get outplayed.
Actually, wait. Do you want to see something inspired by Sean C? Listeners are
sure.
like, what? So basically, I got to get up.
We'll describe it.
There's
in
a
epic
video
detail.
of Sean C. reacting to like street beefs, which is this really like hick fight thing. It's really weird, but watching Sean C. is beautiful, right? Because anyways, he's talking and there's a wheelchair fight, which is just as stupid as it sounds. And then as they pan out, there's like a guy who has like crutches, but not like injured crutches, but like, you know, like permanently like something's wrong with this dude, crutches. And it pans over to him and Sean's just like, what are those, stilts? So me and my friend, we were hanging out and we were bored. So we went to we were just going around to like thrift stores looking around to see if we could find anything because we were just bored as heck. And we went to the one place with the bins where you sift through. And would you believe it? $2 stilts.
$2 stilts.
The other one is at my friend's
Is it just
apartment,
one?
So
okay.
It's $1. I have one stilt. We just got it for the culture.
You could beat somebody with that. You could hurt somebody
Okay.
with that. He can't hear me right now, so yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting off topic, but you know, had to show off the stilts.
I kind of want crutches now. Have I told you about me? Actually, I mean, you were here. I wonder if you. There's a right over there. I won't go get it. But I have a section of a railroad crossing. Did I talk to you about that?
No.
When you were here? It's sitting like right. Remember when you were like knocking over my action figures?
Yeah.
So above my action figures. You know what a railroad crossing looks like? Like the
Yeah.
crossing guard comes down
Yeah.
and it's like red
Yeah.
and white and they're like reflective. I have a section of a railroad crossing arm that has been like cut off, and I can't be. I don't think I can. Who cares? When I was in college, a bunch of my buddies, at like the middle of the night, were like, "Hey, there's like part of a railroad crossing that's kind of broken. We're gonna like break it off the rest of the way. It's like 10 minutes away. We're gonna break it off the rest of the way and then cut it up into pieces and take it back. Cause like these arms are like super long, so that's what they did. They took like a sawzall, which is just like a type of saw, and they just
Bro,
went.
who named that? I call
don't know.
this the sawzall. Shut up, man.
And then they just cut it up. It's technically that's a felony, like a federal crime. So I have a section of a railroad crossing. Just a fun little fact. I'll probably frame it at some point. My buddy Will signed it because it was his section of the railroad crossing, and he didn't want it, so he gave it to me. Yeah.
That's crazy. I have a stop sign. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I started to give some trivia, and we went off on a massive.
Yeah,
tangent.
we do.
What
I
was
do
that
not have a
game?
stop sign, by the way. That's it.
The Christopher Nolan thing.
Yeah. So continue.
Christopher Nolan was being considered to direct this movie, until Sam Mendes decided to come back for the next one. Yeah. And Sam Mendes was the guy who directed Skyfall.
Okay.
Sam Mendes is one of my favorite directors actually. He directed the movie 1917, which is a
war movie. I know that one. That's the one take, right?
Well, it's filmed in such a way
that
to
it
look
looks
like
like one take. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like a lot of it is one take. Like there'll be like big 12-minute sections that are all one take, and the cuts are done in such a way that
you can't tell.
It looks fluid. Yeah, that you can't tell that it's not one take. But yeah, I really like Sam Mendes. But anyway, Christopher Nolan was considered to direct this movie, which I think would have been kind of cool. But he kind of did like his James Bond thing when he did Tenet, because it's kind of like spy espionage a little bit, but it's also still sci-fi with like time travel elements. You don't even know what Tenet is. Bro.
No, I do from the Sean C stream, because that was the guy's answer. It's his favorite Nolan movie.
Oh, okay.
So I'm so cultured, man.
Okay, I wonder. So Christopher Nolan directed like the Dark Knight trilogy with Christian Bale. You're probably aware of it, like
I know what that is.
Like with the Joker, like my father.
Yeah.
You know, do the whole okay. Yeah, he's a really good director. I do think some people like worship him. Even when I was younger, I was like, oh my gosh, Christopher Nolan's my favorite. His movies are perfect. It's not true, but he's really good. I think sometime we'll have to watch some of his movies. Maybe we'll do the Batman movies. I think you'd like them. Who knows? But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I didn't know that. I think I had another. Yeah, so Daniel Craig was like 47 at the age of filming this.
Okay,
right?
Can I say that? When watching this, there are a few scenes where I was like, bro, he looks like he's getting up there in age.
Yeah. I mean, right now, Daniel Craig... Let me just look it up. I think right now, Daniel Craig is like 55. Like, he's still acting, but like, it's a little bit much for him to like, you know, be an action star. He's 54, not 55, but still, yeah.
Oh, he can't get the seniors discount yet.
Yeah, he's still looking pretty good for 55 though.
Wait till I hit 55. Then you'll know what a good looking 55
Evan's just blowing smoke up his own, bro. Like, come on. You guys just wait, bro. In your newest video when you were talking about Taylor Swift's just out of my league.
I love that rant. I don't know.
When you talked about her height, she was like, and for one, she's 5'10" or whatever. And I was like, I would date her. I was like, bro, I don't even care.
I don't know where that came from. I was thinking of my thoughts on the co-album, or the co-song, sorry. And I was like, who would want to date someone who like their songs are always like this? Like, what makes you think they're gonna be a good romantic partner? And then I was thinking, like, who else is like that? And I was like, bro, Taylor Swift, yeah. You know what you're signing up for there. So then I just made up that rant.
I liked it. I loved it. No, I was. I feel like Taylor. Like this is getting off the rails. We're probably done talking about Spectre. It's a pretty solid movie. Pretty good.
No, what rating for Spectre?
We'll rate it. I think this is not my least favorite one. It's my second least favorite one. Quantum of Solace is my least favorite one. I don't know what I scored. We probably scored Quantum of Solace. I don't remember what I said. I'd probably give this one like a 7.5.
I was thinking
maybe 7.
I was thinking around the same, like a good 7. I still think I'm going
Skyfall's
Casino.
Like a freaking like 9.5 for me.
I still think I'm going Casino Royale, Skyfall, Spectre, Quantum.
Okay.
That's where I'm at the moment. I still hold on to Casino Royale.
So would you? I'm curious. Would you like rewatch these movies, like with your family?
I've
or friends
legitimately
at some point?
thought about rewatching Casino Royale before.
Okay.
I have thought about that.
All right. Yeah. Well, I was gonna go off on a Taylor Swift thing, but I could save that for an actual episode that isn't about movies.
Save it for when Taylor's album comes out in a month.
Oh, that's a good point. I see. It's hard for me to get excited for anything Taylor does anymore. That's just how I am. Like, I'm interested in it. I watch it from afar.
The thing is,
but
right?
Like, yeah.
Oh, who's going? I kind of cut you off, so I was gonna let you finish.
No, you're good. I was kind of just trailing off. You're good.
Well, I think the thing for me with the Taylor release is like, I know that I am probably gonna like it, or at bare minimum appreciate what it is. Taylor's not like gonna come out and drop a bad. I'm not worried about the quality of a Taylor Swift project. It's just the masculine urge to just like be toxic towards Taylor to get the Swifties mad is so present, and it's so hard to resist. Like, just not even that I'm gonna hide that I'm excited. Like, I am excited for the new Taylor album. I want to see what she does. Like, heck, Folklore is a standout album of the last.
I need to listen to
me.
Folklore and Evermore more.
You do, but you know, even Midnight's could be the best album of all time. I'm still gonna post more memes about it than I will compliments.
The thing I'm most interested about it is just like, not that it's good or that it's bad. I'm just interested to see what sound she goes for this time. Like, have we heard a single off of this one?
I don't think there will be one. I'm thinking something more. I think she's moved out of her folk sound, which I'm kind of sad to see. I would have liked, maybe down the road, I'd love some more folk Taylor Swift. But I think sheerly based off of like the description.
We're getting rock Taylor. Are we getting rock Taylor?
I was thinking
Taylor singing Fast Women by Kip Moore.
I was thinking drill Taylor. No. I think sheerly based off of like what she said and the image of the album cover, I think she's going more like contemporary. Maybe like not R&B.
What do you mean by that? Because I feel like contemporary is...
See, I have an idea of what contemporary means, but now that I say it, that's a pretty general term.
When I think of contemporary, when I hear it, I think of like Christian contemporary radio, and that's just pop but put through a Christian filter. You know? Like, that's all that is.
I'm thinking like slightly darker sounds, but maybe less acoustic. I'm thinking maybe some more drum pads, some more synthesizers, like not big blaring synths, but just some low key stuff. I think the album's gonna be really low key. That's what I think. I think maybe like a Billie Eilish. Hear me out. Like,
what about like a
Billie Eilish
Lizzie McAlpine vibe a little bit, like some of her newer stuff? Is that like,
you know what? Some of her newer stuff, I can see it going in that direction.
Okay, I think I'm picking up what you're saying then.
Yeah,
I not exactly like that, considering you didn't like the album.
Well,
I still love that album. Like,
maybe I'll go back to it. I just had some issues with it. Only because of how much I liked her first album. That's the thing. If 5 Seconds Flat was my introduction
they are
to
drastically
Lizzie,
different.
If 5 Seconds Flat was my introduction, I would have thought.
Oh wait, sorry.
I would have thought, oh yeah, that's an okay album. That's a decent album. But because of Give Me a Minute, I was so ready for more of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I probably overhated it in the start. I'll give it another try at some point.
Yeah, you gotta listen to it again. I don't know. It's definitely a different. It still feels like Lizzie to me, but it's definitely like a different flavor. But we stopped talking about Spectre a hot second ago.
Yeah, we can probably start winding this down. It's been a 45-minute episode, 15 of which were based on the topic of the podcast. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for checking in on episode 6 of Movies Not Music, James Bond, Spectre. We will be back in 2 weeks. Well, we will be back in a week with the regular like music-based podcast programming, and then 2 weeks from now we will be back with another movie segment, and it will be Southpaw.
We're doing Southpaw.
So if you wanna watch it, give it a viewing, and then come to the next episode prepared. That'd be great.
I might even watch Southpaw tonight.
Oh, look at you go.
Yeah. All right. Get out of here, you filthy animals.